All right, welcome into the Section YY podcast. Negative Niece here in the studios in beautiful Strawberry Plains, very wet Strawberry Plains. A lot of rain here in the East Tennessee, specifically Knoxville area. The past couple weeks, especially this past week. Hopefully, everybody survived the flash floods. But joined by Harbin. What's going on, Harb?
Just hanging out, living the honky tonk dream.
Chasing that
Nothing.
neon rainbow.
Yeah, doing what I can. Daddy
Heard
want a
that.
radio.
Heard that. So very special show. Kickoff to season 5 of the Section YY podcast. Can't believe we've gotten this far with this thing. I was talking to Gavin a while back last time I saw him, and I was like, man, I can't believe he's not on here much anymore, if ever. But I can't believe this thing's still going. I didn't really envision it going this long when we first started, but um, we've gained some listeners over the past few weeks, had some hits on the YouTube channel, Harbin. Gained almost 100 plus followers on the X, Twitter. So things are picking up here in Section YY8.
Doing what we can. It's kind of wild that this is going to be my third season on here.
Crazy.
Yeah, he brought me on as a guest after the LSU game.
And you've never left.
No, not really. No, y'all kind of got stuck with me.
We'll try to get the full crew back on here at some point. I don't know when. Schedules are kind of chaotic anymore. That's we've not recorded much this summer. Work and life and vacations. Of course, it's the off season. Once Tennessee baseball ended, it was the off season for us. So taking a little time to recharge the batteries. But it's almost football season, Harbin. We're now less than a month away. If you're listening to this, when we're recording it, we are exactly 1 month, 30 days away from the opening game against Chattanooga. Tennessee football is killing it in the recruiting right now. We won't get too into depth with that. Don't want to make the show too long here, but last weekend was a big weekend. Could be a potentially big weekend this coming weekend, which I don't know when I'll get this show posted. It may be the weekend, it may be early next week. So if you're listening to this, we may have had a big weekend on Rocky Top recruiting for football. And I'm speaking of the weekend of August 3rd and 4th, Saturday and Sunday. So potentially has the opportunity to be a big weekend recruiting for the University of Tennessee on the gridiron. You're speechless.
Yeah, absolutely speechless. You kind of ended that sentence acting like he was going into another one, so I wasn't really prepared to get
I'm
that.
sorry. That's my
That's all.
fault.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
But Tennessee, you did say on the last show we recorded, Walker sent in a question: what does Tennessee football need to do to compete for the SEC title? I'm not sure if he meant this year or if he meant overall as a program. I think he meant overall as a program. But one of your answers was recruit top 3, top 5. Um, and they got to do that. And it looks like they're trending toward that direction with the 2025 class.
For sure. This isn't necessarily talking recruiting, but this is true freshman talk. I saw a video of there's a defensive lineman, 5-star. Help me out with his name. His first name is Jordan. I can't remember, but that dude is an absolute grown man. There's a video of him going around on Twitter. I mean, hell, he's one of the biggest guys out there, and he's 18 years old. Um, so they got everybody.
Is it offensive tackle David Sanders?
No,
It's not him.
no, it was a defensive lineman.
Oh, a defensive lineman. Okay. Well,
Yeah, it was either DN. It was somewhere on the D line. I just kind of rolled over it. Don't really
ten,
remember.
according to 247 Sports, and I haven't looked at all the publications, Tennessee right now is number 6 overall nationally. The most recent recruit I believe we got was last weekend, Lagonzo Hayward, a safety out of Georgia, Toombs County, 4-star safety. One we didn't really talk about because of all the College World Series talk and all that was going on with that. We've been preoccupied with baseball. But while we were in Omaha, we were actually celebrating the national title that night in the Blatt. which is a bar slash club, I guess you want to call it, that's in right field of Charles Schwab Field. And they've got TVs everywhere. They had a DJ playing. It turned into the dang club there for a little bit. But on the TV, as we were standing there celebrating, it popped across the bottom of the screen. Tennessee lands commit from four-star offensive tackle Douglas Utu, I think is how you say his name. He's 6'4", 317 out of Bishop Gorman there in Las Vegas. Four-star, number 4 at his position overall. So that was one thing I mentioned when Walker talked about or asked about what do we need to do. One knock that Josh Heupel and his staff have had is, since they've been here at Tennessee, was bringing in offensive linemen in the high school recruiting class and developing them. They've not really done that yet. That's a good step in the right direction to do that. Now, they've had very good offensive lines while they've been here. Transfer portal, guys left over from the Pruitt era. But this is a step in the right direction, getting this guy, because he looks like he could be a solid piece, an anchor of that offensive line for several years to come. So,
Yeah.
my 2 cents on that. But let's see. Any more Tennessee news? Tennessee baseball bringing back Ross Cavett, former assistant coach, infamous for flipping birds at the umpires in the 2021 College World Series. He left Tennessee after that, after Tennessee was eliminated, and went to Houston, I think it said, but now he's back. What I was reading this afternoon, Harbin, every coach that was here when Tony Vitello started is here still. Ross has come back. The strength and conditioning coach left, went to the major leagues, came back. The nutritionist, she left to go to another program. She came back. So they're all back in the saddle. And that speaks a lot to the culture Coach Vitello's created over there. Not only, you can say that not only because they won a national title, but you got people leaving Major League Baseball organizations to come back. You've got people going to other college programs and missing it so much that they come back. It's kind of incredible. We've talked back and forth about over the past several weeks in this season who's the best baseball program in America, and I've been hesitant to rank Tennessee number 1. I don't think I'm going to be hesitant anymore. They are the best currently, the best baseball program in the country.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think it's really up for debate. But it is, we are kind of talking about this earlier. It is kind of a cop out answer because we're the defending national champions. But I mean, on top of that, we've been to 3 of the last 4 College World Series. In my opinion, I don't think it's close. We have the best coach in the country, whether it be recruiting, talent development, overall culture, which that one's caught some flick recently, but whatever, it's working. People don't like what winners do. Yeah, they are the best program in the country. They're part of a short list that I would include LSU, Texas A&M, but
Florida.
they just lost their coach, so we'll see about that. Florida, you can Florida State's made a resurgence.
You know,
And Clemson's been good.
yeah,
Clemson's been good.
I think Clemson, North Carolina, they're I wouldn't say they're in the conversation to be the top program. They're in the conversation to be top 10. I tell you one, and I don't want to get too far into this because like I said, we've got a special guest on this week's show, but one program that we've had run-ins with the past couple years that you don't realize how good they've been over the last decade and a half is Southern Miss. That has been a very good baseball program. I think they're top 10 in wins over the past 10 years. I saw a stat a while back where they're right there with some of the juggernauts in the sport, and that includes Tennessee. And I know we beat them in Hattiesburg 2 years ago to go to the College World Series. We beat them here in Knoxville this past year in the regionals. That is a solid baseball program. I'm not saying that they're the best. They're in conversation to be one of the best baseball programs in the country, but they're right there to enter the conversation. Even though they're a mid-major, I think you can throw that out the window because that's a pretty good and up and coming program. You could put maybe Wake Forest in there, even though they're a Power Five school. Wake Forest has kind of come along lately, but I mean Southern Miss, they even had a coaching change. They haven't missed a beat. This was their first year, but they haven't really missed a beat. But that's a program a lot of people don't think about that we've had a connection with the past couple years, but something to keep your eye on going forward. They've been to the College World Series. I mean, they've had some success under their past coach and their current coach. So don't forget about the Golden Eagles in Hattiesburg. Brett Favre's alma mater.
Is he still stealing welfare checks?
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know much. I hadn't read much about that, but I think he probably is. All right. Anything else, Harbin, before we move on to the main event?
Uh oh, there was a big golf match
Oh
that happened.
yeah, yeah. Tell us about your golf match that you had this past week.
Yeah, there was a big golf match happened at Ruggles Ferry this past week. Lots of friends and listeners of the show participated in that. It was kind of like a mini alumni match for Carter High Golf. So it was six of us. There was five of us that played together, and our fearless leader, our coach, Chad Grubb, he was sixth man. Um, so we did 3-on-3 double low ball. So two out of the three scores counted on each hole. Um, it was Mr. Jake Minot, Chad Grubb, and Austin Hayes versus myself, Logan Sheridan, Nick Bain. We came up short. Came up short. Is what it is. It was kind of fitting because our master splinter got the win, and also the one professional out of us was also on the winning team. And they carried Austin Hayes. Um, is what it is. I will give Austin Hayes credit. He did play better than any of us thought he was going to. So good on
Yeah,
him.
he mentioned this, or he mentioned it when I was chatting with him the other night. And he said, "Man, I shot a 79." He said, I got my rear end kicked." I was like, "Man, if I was out there with y'all and shot a 79, I would be Tiger Woods fist pumping, walking around."
It was pretty wild. There was some good scores. Um, but yeah, hindsight 2020, Jake and Grubb on the same team did not make a lot of sense.
Yeah,
But Jake,
who picked these teams?
well, Jake brought it to my attention that the teams were my idea after some chocolate milks.
Oh, oh, there you go.
And I'm going on record by saying I do not have any recollection of making those teams. So I called fake news.
That
Uh,
is.
yeah.
That's all. That's just hearsay.
Right. You know, and Nick and Logan potentially didn't play as good as they could. Not blaming them for the loss. I'm just stating facts. They're good players. Um, is what it is. I see a rematch brewing, either part two at Ruggles or potentially at River Islands or Island Point. Excuse me. Yeah, we'll see. See what we can do.
You guys kind of created a de facto alumni game. That while you were talking about it, it just hit me. We've got the Carter High School baseball alumni game coming up later this month in August. So if you're a former Hornet baseball player, Coach Armstrong needs you to sign up. It was a big hit last year. They use this as a fundraiser for the program. It was a big hit last year. We had so many players, former players come back that we had to split it up into four teams, two different games. I think two 5 inning games is what we played. There had to be something like 4 or 5 thousand people there. I'm not exaggerating when I don't know if you were there, Harbin, but there was every bit of 4 to 5,000 people there. I told somebody we walked out on the mound between games. I was in the second game. We were taking some pictures, former teammates, and I went out there to pit. I was the starter for game two on the black team, and I looked around before Maxwell came out to warm me up, and I was like, "Holy cow! This is the most people I've ever played in front of in a sporting event." I know we had some big crowds when we played Gibbs in high school, but nothing like that. It was really cool. Raised a lot of money for the baseball program. So if you're listening, former player, sign up. I'm already signed up. We need some more players. So it goes to your program, your former program. It helps them out, helps the current players out. We got to support them boys, Harbin.
Always got to support them boys.
Y'all need to do an alumni match for golf.
Yeah, I think it'd be a lot of fun. Just off the top of my head, people that still live in East Tennessee that I play golf with on a semi-regular basis, I think we could get a big group together, maybe potentially do like a Ryder Cup style, or maybe do teams of three, teams of four, something along those lines. Spice something up. But I think if we did it enough time in advance, I think we could have a good amount of guys, probably 20, 25 guys, maybe more, do it.
Yeah.
Be a
People
lot of
don't
fun.
understand. There's been a lot of good golfers come out of Carter High School.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And a lot of them didn't get the credit they deserved at the time, just because they're from Strawberry Plains. But that's a topic for a different day.
Yeah. The biased mainstream media, or well, not mainstream, local stream media, I guess you might want to call it. They just forget about us up here in little old Strawberry Plains, Harbin. They just sometimes people don't know we exist. I honestly believe that.
I was actually talking to somebody at work the other day, and they asked me where I was from, and I said Strawberry Plains, and they said, "Where's that?" And I was
Well, a
like,
lot of people say I went to Carter. They're, oh, you went to Carter County? Like, no.
"No."
Did I say Carter County? I went to the home of the Green Hornets, not just the Hornets, the Green Hornets. All right. Without further ado, Harbin, biggest guest we've ever had on the show. If you're listening to this or if you're watching this, spoiler alert, you've already seen who it is because his name is in the title of the podcast episode. Jordan Bowden, former Hornet, former Vol, current professional player. He's had some stints in the G League, Summer League, NBA Summer League. He's been overseas. He's been beyond the wall in Canada. He's up there playing. So Harbin and I sat down, took a few minutes with former Vol, former Hornet, current professional player Jordan Bowden to catch up with him, ask him where he's been, what he's up to, look back at his time at Carter High School, Tennessee. We asked him a lot of questions. It was a really cool interview. So hope you guys enjoy it. Here's Jordan Bowden on the Section YY8 podcast.
All right, guys. Without further ado, here's our special guest of the evening, Strawberry Plains legend, Knoxville legend. Uh, very, very good for the University of Tennessee. Good friend of mine, Mr. Jordan Bowden. Jordan, how we
Yes,
doing,
doing good, man. Excited to be on here with y'all guys.
bro? All right, Nice, what you got for him?
I don't know. I'm starstruck here. I got Jordan Bowden on here.
Get out of here, man.
I'm just messing. Jordan, I've known you for a long time, going back to your high school days at Carter, and so glad to have you on here. And I know you've been a good representation at Carter High School throughout your time there at Tennessee, and now in the pros. So excited to hear what you've been up to since your time at UT and Carter, and what you got going on. What you got planned for the future coming up. So we'll get into that. So Harbin, I'll let you start. Did you all go to school yet? Did you all graduate together, or were you different classes?
I was a year behind.
You're behind. So you were there at Carter
Yeah.
When the system was making it in its heyday there. So what was that? I'm gonna start with Harbin, Jordan, if you don't mind. What was it like being a student during that at Carter?
It was wild. It was wild. remember when Coach Boydstone came in. It's pretty much something Strawberry Plains never seen before. I want to say like first game of the year. I can't remember if it was Jordan's junior or senior year. We put up like 125 in what 8 minute quarters in high school basketball. Like it was just insane. It was really cool. Got to see back to back state championship appearances. Um, yeah, it was really cool for the community, because basketball program had kind of taken a dip for I don't know
Mhm.
7 or 8 years before that, and there was a bunch of guys that contributed to getting that back to where it was. Sorry that my class kind of ruined that for you guys, but
It
yeah,
wasn't
that was
it wasn't Austin Hayes' part, was it?
no, no. I mean, you should have shot it against Fulton, but that's about it.
That's true. That
Jordan,
is true.
Jordan, tell it. Hayes listens to this. He's a good friend of the show. What kind of player was Austin Hayes?
Austin was a type of guy that he you would have to get on him a little bit to get him out of his little comfort zone. And once he got mad and competitive, Austin was a great player for us. He could shoot the ball, especially when he was confident. You know what I'm saying? But I loved Austin. He was a great teammate to have and a great person off the court as well.
That's like when I play golf with him. I have to get in his rear end sometimes.
Yeah, you got to get onto him to get that fire out of him. And
Unbelievable.
I don't know where, because Alex has it. Alex has that competitive, the nasty to him, and I don't see how it doesn't rub off on him. But Austin was a great player though to be
Uh,
around.
Now, I do have another question regarding Austin Hayes because it's been a topic of discussion for about a year and a half. Uh, can he go left?
yeah,
When he pulls up, yes. Driving, no, no.
Okay, so that's 1 point for the Stanton brothers.
yes. That has been a hot topic of discussion on our golf trip every year. Is can Hayes go left? I
Yeah,
still
he when he gets the pull up, yes, yes, he goes left.
That's the first definitive answer I've heard on that, Harbin.
Yeah, I
Which I
think
said he could.
I think the
Yeah.
thing is we all knew it, but none of us actually played with him. So he just argued it. So now we have an actual answer and it's recorded. So perfect.
On the record. All right, Jordan. All right, Jordan. Enough about Austin Hayes. So what have you been into? I know I've watched some of your highlights over the past few weeks, but for those that don't know, you've been in the G League this summer. So where have you been? You've been G League and the Summer League. So tell everybody where you've been, what you've been up to, and where you're at right now.
Yeah, so currently right now I'm in Montreal, Canada. I've been up here since I want to say May. Been up here in the CBL league. It's a pretty good league. It also kind of reminds me of being in France. I was in France from last August to mid-January. So it's a great league up here I've been in. We're getting ready for the playoffs starting next week. So that's where I've been at the past, 2 months, 2.5 months. Also, like you mentioned, I've been uh, with Atlanta Hawks for the summer league. Had a pretty, decent summer league. Got good feedback from there. I'm hearing from a couple of teams, so I'll know where I'm headed this, this next year. So that's where I've been this past, summer.
Nice.
Good.
Yeah, I saw. I don't know. Did you hit a game-winning three like one of the last games of the summer league out there in Vegas?
Now, I hit the go ahead,
Go
the
ahead.
go
Okay.
ahead three, and then we ended up, fouling, forcing us to go into overtime and lost in overtime. So
Gotcha.
big shot, but unfortunately we didn't get the win, so it didn't matter.
Uh, well, I got on Instagram one morning before I went to work, and everybody was reposting that
Yeah.
that highlight. So that was awesome to see. Harbin, got any questions for the man?
Yeah. So right out of college, you signed with the Nets organization. Spent 2 or 3 years with them. Um, Tell us a little bit about the adjustment going from college ball to professional ball, and then after that, going to France. And tell us a little bit about for lack of a better term, culture shock. How it was leaving your home country and trying to focus on ball. So tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about
Yeah, bro. So unfortunately, I came out, in COVID. So I didn't have the, traditional, draft workouts or things like that. I was doing what we're doing now, a lot of Zoom meetings with teams. And so I didn't really get to go and, showcase myself after, playing at UT. But like you said, I signed the Exhibit 10 with the Nets. And then right after the draft, they called me, told me, they're going to sign me to, Exhibit 10 deal. And then I ended up getting COVID, right before I was supposed to go up to training camp with them. So I didn't have a training camp. I was in a hotel room the whole time, quarantining. And then I had to test, I had to clear that. And then they waived me, of course. I didn't get to, go through training camp and things like that. So I went to their G League team affiliate and we went to the bubble down in Florida, a G League bubble they had down there. So that was like 15 games down there. My first, professional, start. And after that, came back and played summer league for the team, had a decent summer league. And then I had, tore my meniscus. So unfortunately, the first 2 years of my, professional career didn't go as planned. And then I came back towards a little bit later that year, but didn't play how I knew I could play that finishing that year. Unfortunately, they brought me back. Thank God they brought me back. The next year I had my best year of my professional career, my third year in the G. So that was praise to God. I had a great year. Went to summer league that following year with the Clippers. Had a decent summer league as well, which landed me, with a gig in France. I went to France in Nancy, France. Big culture shock, man. It was tough. Language barrier, just how the culture over there, how just getting adjusted to that. It was tough, but started off the year when over there, it was pretty good. Started good. Wasn't playing the best, but just getting by and playing good ball, as they would say. Mentally, it was tough on me, especially with my family not being there the whole time, but in and out. So it was kind of tough on me. Plus, I wasn't playing the best that I thought I could, and I couldn't do it no more. It was just mentally draining, culture shock. Just everything was different over there for me. My teammates was amazing. I had great teammates over there. Um, but just for me, it was just I couldn't take it anymore. So I had, left mid-January, this past January, and finished off in the G League with College Park Skyhawks, which I had another great, stint with them. So that was my little, journey over there in France. But I'm fortunate enough to had a great stint with the Hawks this past, summer league, and got a lot of opportunity ahead of me these next couple months.
Absolutely. Yeah, you had a great summer league. I do want to know, was it difficult with some of the different rules in France's
Yeah,
league?
yeah, it was like some things you couldn't do over there, like a rip through, like a regular rip through over here would be a walk, considered a walk over there.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow.
you can stand, yeah, you can stand in the defense of 3 seconds. You can't do that in the NBA.
Uh,
So it's kind of, tougher to score, more physical, I would say, over there. But it was a great league over there. I would say it's a lot of great guys that come out of that league over there. And I think it was the best thing that happened to me because coming back over here in the G, it was easy. I had a lot of space. I had my IQ was way better, I would say, too, playing with the ball in my hand because usually, I'm just a typical, 3-and-D guy. So coming back over here, I was, playmaking, and they didn't know I could do that. So, it was, kind of a, win-win situation for me, if, you could ask me.
Awesome. Awesome.
so I want to go back to we talked a little bit about Carter High School. So I want to go back to that. You were always your freshman, sophomore year, good player. But your junior year, Coach Boydstone comes in and something flipped, not just with you, but with a lot of players on that team. What happened? Like what was the difference in when he came in? Was it just the system or was it something else that triggered your all success?
Well, first thing, I had hit a big growth spurt, bro. I want to say my sophomore year, I was 5'10". Going into my junior year, I got to 6'2". So it was like a big jump for me, but right when he got there, man, he changed my mindset. Like my whole mindset just changed. He just put like a incredible like confidence in me, So it was that from the start. He believed in me from the beginning. He knew what I could do. He knew the team that we had. We had a lot of returning guys, and we all had that continuity since we were in middle school. So we all knew each other. He just put the belief in the whole. I would say the whole Carter community. He flipped the whole culture around, and Coach Boystone, he really flipped my whole game. I would say he changed my my attitude, my approach to the game. Defensively, people didn't think we played defense
You
at Carter.
did. You
But
did.
we did. But he harped on it. He harped on it, but it didn't show because we were, people saw we were putting up 100 and some points. But he emphasized the defensive end of the floor, which people didn't, know. But Coach Boystone has, I would say he's a big part of my journey.
I'd love to go back and look at the stats, and I don't know if they kept something like points off turnovers that you all
Mhm.
forced a ton of turnovers during those 2 years that you were there and he was there.
Mhm.
Um, and constantly pressing, a lot of ball pressure. So you
Mhm.
all, I mean, yeah, you gave up 60 or 70 points, but it didn't matter because you were scoring
Mhm.
100 and 110, 120 every game. So yeah, a
Exactly.
lot of people say, man, that's just a shootout. I was like, no, they actually played defense. It
Yeah,
might
and
not,
you're the first person that said that.
yeah, you might not notice that, but it absolutely was. So, when I'm not going to give any credit to that team for any success that happened with Blake Dutton. He doesn't deserve it. He's not going to get it. I don't even know if he listens to this, but Blake, I'm just kidding. If you are listening to this, so after Carter, you graduated Carter. You went over to the 22-foot academy, Greenville, South Carolina. So what went into the decision to go there instead of just going straight to college? Because I know you had a couple offers out of Carter.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Obviously, in hindsight, it was a great decision to go there. But what went into that?
Basically, man, I bet on myself, because my senior year I had Tennessee had came and watched me twice, and the feedback they was giving to me, they told me I was a great player. They said I was a Division I player, but I knew that I believed that in myself. Just the work I put in, through the last 2 years, I just knew, I was a Division I, high Division I player. So actually, Tennessee Tech had referred me to this prep school, 22 Feet Academy, and so I took it, And the crazy thing is, when after I went to 22 Feet Academy and I was getting these offers, Tennessee Tech had never offered me, and that was the crazy thing about that. But
Really?
Tennessee,
Wow.
yeah, 22 feet was great for me as well, man. We were playing against highly ranked guys, every tournament, going up against guys in practice every day, which made me better, and things like that. But 22 feet, yeah, man, 22 feet. I said flip my career as well.
It did because it seemed like when you were there, you got one offer, then you got another
Hmm.
one, then you got two or three more. But we all knew, and I think you knew too, that as soon as the Vols came calling, that's where you were going.
Now,
Uh,
most definitely,
there
most
was there
definitely.
there wasn't. I remember the day you announced, and some
Hmm.
people from that didn't know you that I know out of
Hmm.
state. They're like, "Man, this guy went to the same high school as you." And I was like, "Yeah, we're not surprised that he's going there because we all knew." But they didn't
Hmm.
understand. But um, it was so awesome though, to have somebody like that, especially in our backyard.
Yeah,
Go to UT like that. But that was awesome that you were able to go over there and bet on yourself and get
yeah.
that. So um, one more question, Harbin, unless you got one. You got any
Well,
more?
just real quick, going back to 22 feet, the wildest thing for me when you went to 22 feet, you bulked up big time. You put
Yeah,
on probably, I'm guesstimating, but probably 15, 20 pounds.
yeah.
You got bigger, stronger, you got faster. And this kind of a no shit statement, but I think that helped you a lot as well.
You're
What are you
crazy,
saying,
man.
Harbin?
But no, man, I was locked in when I got there, man. It was basketball, my work, because getting in, you got to, you got to do work to get in, universities and things like that. But it was just ball, weights, and just getting better. That was my main focus going into that, getting ready for the next level.
So you went to UT, obviously, we've stated that. First year there was a little up and down. You got a little bit of playing time. Your sophomore year, that's when things really started rolling. A little more playing time. Uh, your team won the SEC regular season title, NCAA tournament appearance. Unfortunately, y'all couldn't get by Sister Jean, Harbin's favorite, Sister
Yeah.
Jean. But the next season, you went even further. You guys were picked preseason SEC #1. You lived up to the billing. I know you guys came up short in the postseason, but what those 2 seasons there, like what happened with Coach Barnes and that program that it's kind of like when Coach Boydstone came to Carter. It flipped
Yeah.
and went to a different level. But what changed under Rick Barnes that has made Tennessee now into one of the perennial top 10 basketball programs in America?
Man, I would tell you after my freshman year, when we found out we wasn't going to make the tournament, that spring is what changed that whole thing. That spring, I'm telling you, we didn't touch no basketballs. It was just straight conditioning. Coach was going to challenge us. He was going to break us, get us out of our comfort zone. We were doing, weights, running miles, just strictly nothing has to do with basketball. That following year, my sophomore year, is the year that, we were, top 10 defense, top 10 offense, and things like that. And it's just the continuity. We were close. We got real close that summer. And then that's what led to the following year, the returning players. And then, that was Grant. Grant had a player of the year, back to back. Admiral had a great year. Bone had a great year. We all, our junior year, my junior year specifically, it was like, the best year, I felt like Tennessee's had since, this past year they had a great year. But Coach Barnes, he was on us. He was just consistently on it. You're going to get the same Coach Barnes no matter what. We're winning or losing. You're going to get the same Coach Barnes no matter what. He doesn't want you to be complacent at all. You always have more to give. And I think that's the thing that was pushing us. We wanted to get better each and every day. And yeah, man, Coach Barnes, that I would say that my freshman spring was that turnaround for Tennessee basketball.
Gotcha. Yeah, I Burkhart and I had season tickets, so it was your junior year, the year you guys were #1 for a lot of the season. I think I talked about this on one of our previous episodes, Harbin. That I'm sure you remember the alley-oop from Grant Williams against Kentucky at home that year. And that's when oh gosh, Harbin, who's the announcer on CBS?
I don't know. I could.
Iron Eagle, and he said Jordan Bowden with the rack attack. But I
Oh yeah.
promise you, Burkhart and I had season tickets, and we were in the corner of the lower deck behind the visitors bench. We had aisle seats. He was sitting inside of me. I was on the aisle, and stop it, Harbin. Um, when you dunked that, I think I ran down to the front row of the. It's kind of like where the team would walk out, the tunnel, I guess. So yeah, that was pretty exciting. And you can see you running up the court with your hand up. Like, I mean, you can see it from a mile away. But I think the most famous dunk, one of the most famous dunks in Tennessee history, was that alley oop on the inbounds at Vanderbilt.
Oh yeah, Vanderbilt.
I see it all the time. I'm sure you see it too. What was that like? What when that happened? Like, what was that like? Do you even remember what it was like when it happened?
Man, I just remember Coach Barnes had, designed a play at timeout. And me and Bone made eye contact before. We was like, this might not work, this might not. But if you throw it, I'm gonna go get it. So, he took the ball out, and then I think I like act like I was walking to the corner, and then Grant and Kyle had sealed their man. So the only thing I had to do was just beat my man to the rim. And Bone threw it, and I was like, this the one. And dunked it. And that's what turned it. Because if remember, we were losing. We were
Yes.
losing to Vanderbilt. And I think we went to overtime. But that's the play I think that was like the energy shifter. And that's the game. I think Grant had like 40 some points, 23 or 23 at the free throw line. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's a play gonna go down in history for sure, always.
That's one of my favorite games in Tennessee basketball history, and there's been a lot. A lot of them are under Rick Barnes, but that one, because I don't like, not a Vanderbilt fan, obviously. I can't
Mm-mm.
stand those guys, and anytime we beat them, I just like to rub salt in the wound. But that's one of my favorite. I screenshotted it or took a picture on my TV. They're showing highlights on Sports Center after the game, and Bryce Drew's just, he's like that because they had y'all. Y'all were beat down the whole,
Yeah,
pretty much the entire game, and it
entire
took an
game.
epic comeback on the back of Grant. But
Hmm.
you all did something that game to get the Vols back in it and to win that and keep the number one ranking. But of course, that
Yeah,
place has been kind of a house of horrors for Tennessee over the years.
man.
But I mean, that dunk and Grant's performance, especially in the
Hmm.
second half, were two things that go down in Tennessee history, and you'll see your dunk. I mean, what is that like to know that dunk will be shown probably forever in Tennessee basketball?
Man, I'm telling you, it's I can't even describe it. It's a dream come true. I would never, growing up, think I would be, making dunks like that for my, a school in the backyard of my where I'm from. So it's just something I don't think about all the time. But when I do sit back and think about it, it's like, man, I really did that.
Man, probably one of those things you'll think about after you're done playing
Most definitely.
more than you do now. But it was an awesome moment. I know there was a bunch of people, huge contingency from Strawberry Plains out there that night. I was not there, unfortunately, but I know Tyler Julian was
Mhm.
out there. Laycock, Ray, all those guys
Right.
were all out there that night. So I was super jealous of them being there that night to see something like that. But Harbin, what do you got?
Uh, well, just one thing. I want to congratulate you on your up and coming Hollywood career. You made a cameo in a Netflix
Oh
movie.
yeah,
I don't
you
even know what
did.
it was. I saw it on somebody's Snapchat or Instagram or something. Thought it was hilarious.
What is that movie? What
Man,
is that movie?
I have no,
Harbin?
I have no idea. I was
Land
I
hoping.
of
think it's
the
called Land of Bad.
Land of Bad. A guy that works with us was talking about a movie, and I thought he called it Badland, but maybe he was talking about that. And now we find out Jordan Bowden's in it.
Yeah.
Man, I think Kelvin was the first person to tell me that back in, like, I want to say April or March, and I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? And then I didn't recently. I kept seeing people reposting and telling me, and I was like, bro, I've never seen this movie. What are you talking about? And then I think one of my friends had sent me a clip of it, and I was like, wow, I didn't even know this. So I don't know where that came from,
We
but it's
gotta
pretty cool, man,
we gotta look into that. There's got to be the director, the producer, somebody has got to have some UT ties, and that's
for
got to be.
sure.
But like, why did they pick that highlight? Is my
Yeah,
question. Like, it's
We will.
crazy.
Well, I think the bigger thing at hand is I think we need to reach out to that studio for a potential royalty check. Yeah,
There you
yeah.
go.
yeah,
I need to
it's
be talking
wild.
to
My man
somebody.
didn't even know about it.
I didn't at all.
Last question I got, something else you're kind of famous for from your time at UT. I call it the Undertaker meme, but when you set up like you're rising from the dead, what was that about?
Man, it's a story. Coach Barnes, before that game, I think the whole week preparing for Florida, he was saying we got to start having fun winning and things like that. I don't think previously we weren't having fun. He didn't think we were having fun. So we won that game. That was a great game. And then we got back in the locker room. Barnes was like, somebody do something funny for us. Bowden, what do you got? And if you see the clip before that, I was like sitting beside Jordan Bone. I was like, I don't know what to do. And it was like, play the I Bet You Won't song. I was like, go ahead and turn it on. So I just started off, something. I don't know why I thought about that, but it was just something that I thought I came up on, and just did it. So
It
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 was a
seems
cool
like
moment.
in any sport when Tennessee is either making a comeback, coming from behind, looks like we've been left for dead, that starts popping up on the timeline. So
I see it all the time on Twitter, Instagram. I'm like, oh my God, they can't let that down.
I gotta ask this. I For those everybody that listens to this show, I'm a huge Rick Barnes fan. I love Coach
Mm,
Barnes. Obviously, I didn't play for him. I've just
mm,
watched him. And since he's come to UT, I love watching his teams play. I love how he coaches you guys.
Mhm.
And like, what's it like playing? I know you mentioned it a little bit earlier, but what's it like playing for him? What's he like off the court? I think we all know we've
Mhm.
seen some of the clips. He could probably host his own podcast, but what's he like? What's he like in team settings, like when it's serious time, and then what's he like
Mhm.
when it's time to have fun?
Yeah, so on the court, man, he's very serious. He's very detailed oriented. Like he could tell you to get right here, and you'll be sitting where I'm at. And it's just like he's like so detailed, and it disciplines you. But he's like I mentioned earlier, he's consistent. He's the same way no matter what, good, bad, having a great time, bad time. He's going to push you to your limits. And I think he's pushed me harder than probably any coach that I've played against. And I had a lot of great coaches, but Coach Barnes has got the best out of me. So that's what you get to him, get with him on the court. But off the court, Coach Barnes is a jokester. He plays all the time. He's messing with you. He's a great fun guy to be around, and he's a God fearing man as well. He's also somebody you can go up and talk to about anything. He knows everybody in the world, and he's a great guy to be around. And I love Coach Barnes.
Yeah, he's probably my favorite coach we've ever had here.
Mm-hmm.
No offense to Philip Fulmer or Tony Vitello or Pat Summit, which I love all of
Mm-hmm.
those coaches, but I mean Rick Barnes is obviously by far my favorite coach. I love how his teams play, how he coaches, and how he conducts himself, and what he does off the court. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know how close you are with the program since you've been away, but they've obviously had a lot of success after you've left.
Mm-hmm.
They're right there on the verge. Do you think this program can get over the hump in the next few years? Because I mean, it's obvious Coach Barnes probably doesn't have a ton of years left, but
Yeah.
in the few years he's got left here, do you think they can get over the hump and get to that Final Four or even further?
I believe it, man. He's going to push him no matter what. And it's just about the team, buying in to what you know, their concepts and stuff like that. Working hard, never be complacent, and just continuing to get better each and every day. Coach Barnes is going to give you 110% every time, and it's just their job to just go out there and play as hard as they can, and you never know what might have happened. So I'm looking forward to him this year, always, and excited for him.
Harbin, you got anything else?
Yeah, yeah. Just one final closing thing. We'll have a little bit of fun with this since you've kind of played in different areas of the world. Give me like your top 3 or 4 guys that you've played with or against at the high school, collegiate, and or professional level. Kind of putting you on the spot here, but just a few names.
Yeah. Top players who I played against or with, I would say Jordan Bone. He's a guy that I love playing with. Um,
Where's
Grant
he?
Williams,
Where's Bone at right now?
Jordan Bone. I think he's back in Nashville right now, getting ready for upcoming season this
Okay.
year.
Okay.
So Jordan Bone, I would say Grant Williams. Grant Williams was a fun guy to play with. Let me see. I think I have to go all UT. Admiral Schofield. The
Dog.
passion he brought, the energy, the competitive in him, and then I'm gonna have to say Lamonte Turner.
Okay.
Lamonte Turner. So I'm going all UT with my 4.
All right. Nice. Yeah, you named some dogs though. That's for sure.
Some dogs, man. It going out there on the court playing with them and just knowing you have them behind you, and it made your job easier. You know what I'm saying? So it was fun playing with that group, man.
I think the coolest thing about y'all's group was like y'all were playing against like the Kentuckies and whoever in the world that were just full of
Hmm.
5-star blue chips, like had the spotlight on them since they was 13.
Hmm.
And y'all were a bunch of guys that were unranked or 2 stars, maybe a 3-star here and there. That was
Hmm.
beating them in Rupp or beating them wherever, And I think that's a testament to y'all for one for buying in, and also with Coach Barnes getting the most out of his crew. That's why I kind of think it's kind of dumb when people get wrapped up in like recruiting and whatnot. Obviously, it's important, but as long as you buy in, like for example, I don't even know if you're ranked coming out of high school, or
No, I
yeah,
I got ranked. I got ranked. I want to say when I went to prep school, but I still was a 3-star.
right. And then I want to say Grant coming out of high school was 2-star. Um, and I want to say like maybe the highest on team, Bone may have been a 4-star, maybe. I don't.
I think the highest ever. Well, I think it was Bone. I think Bone was out of our class.
Yeah. So yeah, that part was really cool to me because it was a bunch of guys at those big schools, for lack of a better term, passed on, and then
Hmm.
you get them all together, and y'all are out there busting their ass. So that part was really cool to see.
I will say, Todd, you brought up Kentucky, Harbin. We always love the fact that Jordan shut down Tyler Hero in that game in Knoxville that year. I just pulled it up while you were talking. Hero, that game from the field, 3 of 11. Now, he had 15 points, but he was 8 of 9 at the free throw line. And if I remember correctly, some of that happened toward the end of the game, but he was 3 of 11 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3-point range in 32 minutes. And you all won. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong game. You did shut him down in that game, though. I'm pretty sure you did the same thing in Knoxville too. I pulled up the wrong game. I say all that to say you shut down Tyler Hero, who's now playing in the NBA. Had a pretty successful career so far.
Yeah, man, that was your ticket to playing for Coach Barnes. I had to buy in with that. My freshman year, defense was going to get you on the floor, and that's what he harped on. So that's a testament to everything that I've been through leading up to
You were even better against him in Knoxville that year. I found the right game. 6 points,
that.
35 minutes, 6 points, 2 of 11 from the field, 0 of 5 from 3-point range. 2 of his 6 points were from the free throw line. Total
there you
domination.
there you go.
Total
There you,
domination. Well,
yes,
Harbin,
sir.
you got anything
NBA
else?
teams are NBA teams are going to take a look at that and be like, hey, who do we need to stop Tyler Hero? And then the proof is button for sure.
I will say he's having a hell of a career down in Miami, though. He is.
He is. He's had a very, very nice career so far. But Harbin, you got anything else?
How much French did you learn? Did you learn any?
Bonjour.
The simple words, man. I tell you, I was learning a couple, a lot more by the time I was leaving. But as soon as I left, man, it went out the window.
Yeah. Well, now you're in Montreal, so you have a chance to kind
Yeah,
of,
yeah. They speak French here too.
Same
yeah,
thing. So,
yeah. We.
well, Jordan, man, I appreciate it. We're following you all the way. Just we got your back.
Yes,
So
bro.
very proud of you where you've gotten to. Hope you continue to get to where you want to be and
Most
where we
definitely.
all want you to be. But if you're ever back in town this fall for a football game, come see us. I mentioned to everybody on a couple shows ago, our tailgates moved over to G10. So stop by and
Okay.
see us. Come by Carter High School sometime. I know that's a tough time of year, but it I'm on the mic now doing the games. I
Okay.
was
You
telling
big time now.
I was te- I was telling somebody a while back. I was like, I wonder what it was like to announce those games or keep the stats or run the scoreboard when you all were there. Just the
Hmm.
fast pace up and down the court. I think announcing would probably be the easiest thing. Running the scoreboard and keeping the
Yeah.
book had to be the toughest thing.
Yeah, man. It was tough. Rest in peace, my man. Mr. Howe.
Oh
He
yeah.
was a guy I think that was running. I want to say announcing and things like that, but rest in peace to him.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely miss John Howe. He was I came in after he got ill and was doing the scoreboard and then I transitioned over to the mic because I'd been doing football for a while. But yeah, if you're ever in, I'm sure everybody would love to see you. So holler
Most
at us
definitely.
and swing by and come see us. But Jordan Bowden, thanks for coming by the Section YY8 podcast. try to have you back on again.
Most definitely appreciate you guys.
Hey, thank you, brother.
Interview Jordan Bowden. Appreciate Jordan coming on. Jordan, known Jordan like we said in the interview. Harbin's known him probably a lot longer than I have, but I got to know Jordan with my time at the youth league. He would come over during the high school season, and people don't realize how not just Jordan, but that whole team that he was on when they went to the state tournament. And I think it was 2014 and 2015 was the 2 years they went, or maybe 2015, 16. I can't remember the timeline there. But anyways, those 2 years that group was together under Coach Boydstone, they were rock stars in this community, in the Strawberry Plains community. They couldn't, people saw them. I mean, people were respectful, but little kids like looked up to those guys. Even Blake Dutton. Can you believe that? Kids were looking up to Blake Dutton. No wonder our society's the way it is, Harbin.
The blonde-headed Blake Dutton now.
Yeah, what is up with his hair? What in the world?
Yes,
Anyway.
too.
Anyway, I mean, Jordan was great. He would come over to the gym on Saturdays. I remember we had him and I think it was Kelvin come over, and they would hand out the trophies to the kids on their last day of the season, and took pictures with him. And those kids are probably adults by now. Probably don't think much of it, but it was really cool to them back in the day, and hopefully it inspired some future generations of Hornets to come through. And Carter's always been, I've said it, you've said it, a lot of people said it, it's a basketball school. I know everybody wants to be a football school, but Carter's a basketball school, and it is what it is. And they took it to another level when they were here. So appreciate Jordan coming on. Awesome interview. We'll try to maybe get him back on at a later time. And he's busy trotting the globe right now, but hopefully he'll find some time for us later on. So closing out this week's episode, we always do this, hater and loser of the week. Do you have one, Harbin?
I do. Mine, which this goes without saying, but there's hundreds of thousands of potential candidates for hater and loser of the week each and every week.
Every week.
But I'm gonna throw you a little bit of a curveball here. My hater and loser of the week is the National Basketball Association.
Really? What have they done?
So you may have heard over the last month or so, their contract with TNT was set to expire after the season. And there was rumblings that NBC and Amazon were gonna throw out this big lucrative offer, essentially putting all the games on Prime and Peacock. Just moving more towards that streaming shit. So the NBA accepted NBC's offer. It was something massive. I don't even remember what it was. But directly after, TNT put out a statement. And they said, "We have matched the Amazon offer as we have a contractual right to do, and do not believe the NBA can reject it. In doing so, they are rejecting the many fans who continue to show their unwavering support for our best-in-class coverage, delivered through the full combined reach of WBD's video-first distribution platforms, including TNT, home to our 4-decade partnership with the League and Max, our leading streaming service. We think they have grossly misinterpreted our contractual rights with respect to the 2025-26 season and beyond, and we will take appropriate action. We look forward, however, to another great season of the NBA on TNT and Max, including our iconic Inside the NBA." So it sounds like
I'm gonna be honest. I don't watch a lot of NBA, but TNT is the GOAT of NBA coverage. But then you've got what makes it even better is Inside the NBA on TNT with Ernie, Chuck, Kenny, and Shaq. I mean, just on their own, if you don't even, sometimes I don't watch the games. I just turn that on and watch it. And I know I've got it set on my YouTube TV to record it. just so I can go back and watch it, just for the pure entertainment value of it. I did see where I think it was Dan Patrick interviewed Barkley the other day, and he had said that he was retiring after this year, but he's almost kind of leaving the door open because he basically said he's had conversations with every network that he's either going to carry the NBA after this next season or potentially may carry the NBA after this next season, because we'll still have TNT for the 2024-25 season, but it's the 25-26 season when all this comes in. The only good thing about this new deal is the round ball Rick theme for NBA on NBC is coming back. They have officially NBA or NBC said it's coming back. One of the greatest sports themes ever created.
Yeah, that is cool, but I would rather that one go back into retirement to keep Ernie Johnson on my television for.
True. Because Barkley said that Ernie Johnson is not going to leave Turner. He's a Turner guy. He's not going to leave. So, if the TNT doesn't get it back, Warner Brothers Discovery, then that show is not going to be the same without those four. It's those four. It's nobody else.
Yeah. So, half the time, that was better than the actual game you watched. Because you got Shaq and Chuck going at each other. You got Ernie just kind of like being the dad of the group, and then Kenny will pop in every once in a while, and then Shaq and Charles will both get on Kenny, and it's some of the best content to come out of professional sports.
I wasn't a big fan of this new NCAA tournament. I was a fan of it that it's on so many networks and it's so accessible, but they had so many NBA guys covering it. And I was not a fan of that when it was first announced. But those guys cover it like pro. I know Shaq's not on there a whole lot. It's mainly Barkley and Ernie and Kenny. Shaq may be on there some too during the NCAA tournament, March Madness. But they do, I mean, they're awesome even in that. Because they all played college ball, so they got their ties to their school. So, but they're that if that doesn't come back, it'll be a shame because that's honestly helped grow the game, and it'll be interesting to see. I think it's going to litigation, so I mean, it's not official that that's what's happening. There's going to be some legal fights over it, but there for a while, Warner Brothers Discovery basically said we don't need the NBA, like we're good without it. So I wonder if some of that decision making is because of comments that their CEO or whoever's in charge of them have said previously, but it will be different. And everything's going streaming. I don't mind it, but at some point, everybody's just going to be back to square one with what they were doing with their cable packages. Everybody got rid of cable packages to save money to go to streaming options. But how many streaming platforms does everybody have now? And now a ton of sports, even NASCAR is going to Amazon next season. And I'm going to have to watch NASCAR on Amazon. I've got Amazon. But what if I,
talk about the league not reading the room on their clientele?
Maybe I would assume they've done the research on it, that they think it will be successful, but Amazon paid, I mean, I think their new TV package was over $7 billion for NASCAR. And that was probably around what the NBA's was. I think, but I don't have Netflix. Spoiler alert, I do not have Netflix. I shared my sister's account. They changed it. I don't have time to watch all of these different platforms. And WWE's going to Netflix. Am I going to have to buy Netflix now? See, that's the problem. Like, I switched off of satellite and cable years ago to save money, but now I'm back to spending the same amount. So I could say that's my hater and loser of the week. is the streaming platforms, but it's not.
Well, what is?
The NFL.
Oh, we're going with the two big sports leagues.
We're going with the two of the four giants. in the
Okay.
sporting world. I don't know if y'all saw this or not, but earlier in the week, the NFL changed their kickoff policies, onside kick policy rules. This was to quote address the low kickoff return rate in NFL, the lowest kickoff return rate in NFL history during the 2023 season, and an unacceptable injury rate on kickoffs prior to that. NFL clubs have approved a new kickoff rule for 2024, Harbin.
Mm.
It's a to create a new form of a free kick or a free kick play that is designed to resemble a typical scrimmage play by aligning players on both teams closer together and restricting movement to reduce space and speed and to promote more returns. Well, it's kind of hard to return a football when you move it closer to the end zone and the kickers kick it through the into the stands every time.
Yeah.
I don't basically what they're doing, long story short, you can't have an onside kick prior to the fourth quarter anymore. And if you do an onside kick, you have to announce it that you're doing an onside kick, which honestly, if you're going to do an onside kick, most of the time you line up in onside kick formation because they've got these rules now where you can only have so many lined up. But there is an opportunity to onside kick it lining up in a normal kickoff formation. The Saints did it in the Super Bowl against Peyton Manning and the Colts that year. Michael Pilardi did it at UT one year. Pruitt did it in the Gator Bowl during his time at Tennessee against Indiana. So that's gone. The surprise is gone. You can't do that anymore, and it sucks. I don't like it. Um, I don't know the reasoning behind it. I'm not got to read a lot into it. I'm on the NFL's website right now. It's the NFL operations website. I guess I need to read more into it to understand what the logic is behind it, what the reasoning is, but I don't like it. I don't like it at all, Harbin. And they
I
are
like
my hater. NFL is my hater and loser of the week, just for that.
Why can't you kick an onside kick with 2 minutes left in the third quarter?
That's the rule.
Well,
I don't
yeah,
know. I don't know why.
it makes no sense to me.
I don't know.
I think if
I'm
you have to announce it, you can do it whenever the hell you want to.
It says under miscellaneous, if conditions cause a ball to fall off the tee twice, then the kicker will be allowed to use a kicking stick to keep the ball in place. The closest covering official will pick up the stick immediately after the kick. Onside kick. Fourth quarter begins. The team trailing has the opportunity to declare an onside kick to the officials. Current onside kick rules would apply. If an onside kick goes beyond the setup zone untouched, kicking team unpenalized, return team would start the drive at the 20-yard line. I got to read through this. I don't quite understand the whole reasoning behind it, but yeah, I don't know why it's into the fourth quarter that they're making this happen. And I hope I'm saying that right. I hope I'm not read fake news somewhere that says you can't, but from what I've read, you cannot do an onside. You cannot perform an onside kick prior to the fourth quarter if you're trailing. Well, I guess if you're leading, well, why would you do that? So I don't know. I'll read up on it. I'll have more explanation next show. How about that, Harbin?
Sounds perfect.
But they are my hater and loser for changing it. The onside kickoff. At some point, I gotta think they're just going to eliminate it, right?
You can't.
But you can't. But it seems like they want to.
I don't know why. That takes a lot of the excitement out. I mean,
And
granted,
that's what we do in youth football. They don't punt it. We just move it 40 yards. They don't kick it off. It starts at the whatever yard line. That's no fun. But those kids can't kick either.
these guys can kick.
These guys can kick it. All right.
No,
Whatever.
no fun league.
The no fun league strikes again. Hopefully this doesn't happen in college football. I don't think it will. Because they've not succumbed to a lot of the rule changes as far as kickoffs go. They've moved it up a little bit. I guess with the logic behind moving it up is less kickoff returns means less injuries. So they have done that, but they've not really done anything with the alignment part of it or with the kickoff. So, all right, Harbin, it's football time in Tennessee. So we'll start pumping out some more episodes as we get a little bit closer to the kickoff of the 2024 season. We'll have season preview coming up. Maybe do some position previews or breakdowns. I don't know if we got time. So it's here. Shocking. I didn't realize it. I was telling you earlier before we recorded that it kind of snuck up on me with the success baseball had, and I'm still thinking baseball. It's here. It's time.
It's this month.
I can feel it in the air. Have you got you a new polo? Have you got you a new polo or any new gear for the upcoming season?
Not yet.
I haven't either.
I haven't yet.
Nothing has caught my eye that Nike's put out so far.
But the bad thing is, if you go to Alumni Hall and get one of those Southern Tide or whatever, it's $160 for a collared shirt. And that's
yeah,
just,
me and my dad always joke like back in the day, Cutter and Buck was expensive. They're like on the cheap end now. It's crazy how things have flipped as far as the polo game goes.
oh yeah.
I've gotten to the point where I try to buy a nice Tennessee polo one a year, and I've already bought one this year. So I guess I won't be buying one this fall. I say that I probably will. But anyways, Harbin, appreciate you coming on. We'll be back soon. Shout out to all the new listeners. We've had an uptick in subscribers on YouTube. We've had an uptick in views on YouTube. I'm going to try to do some more shorts. That seems to be drawing some people to us. We've had a triple digit increase in followers on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and X/Twitter over the last few weeks. So if you're new here, appreciate you listening and hope you come back. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed Jordan Bowden being with us. Jordan's a great guy. Glad to have him on. A good ambassador from Carter and the University of Tennessee. So, Harbin, any closing remarks?
Nope, not out of me.
None. Awesome.
I'm good.
Harbin, appreciate you coming on. Have a great weekend. And we'll do it again. We'll do it again soon. For Harbin, Negative Niece, you've been listening to the Section YY8 podcast.